How's it, everybody? And a warm welcome to the Web3 Show, our weekly live stream which brings you all the latest NFT, crypto, and Web3 news. I'm your host, Philip Kalinko, joined by my friend, Kate Bergman. And tonight we are going to be talking about XRP, meme coin, Ape Fest, Cool Cat, 7-Eleven, Google, Starbucks, and so much more. Web3 finally getting the attention that it deserves. So before anything else, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe both Kate and I. You can follow the Web3 Show on YouTube. Subscribe to Kate Bergman on YouTube. Follow both Kate and I on Twitter, which is reloading, but at Philip Kalinko. And you can see
Oh no, Twitter did the reloading thing. Dude, that's like a bug on Twitter. That happens all the time.
at Kate Bergman. Yeah, I hate that. That.
I don't know whose page that is, but that's probably arguably the most valuable PFP of all time, potentially, right there.
I don't know. It's this guy with these weird glasses, but really great jawline,
bro.
Hey, yeah, it looks like you, man. Looks like you.
You know what, bro? Just for the OG days, I'm gonna wear this the whole show.
Please wear it, man. I loved you with the glasses. I loved you without. A big welcome to everyone who's here. I see we got Crypto Dream, we got Janex, we got Artishi, regulars, and I'm sure as we get going, we're going to get more. We have got a lot to cover, guys. It's been a really great week in crypto, but there's some stuff that I'm not seeing people talking about that we need to talk about. Kate, are you ready for some market update?
I'm ready, bro. I'm born ready.
It's going to be a big one, brother. There's a lot I have to tell you. So yeah, you could you sit back for a little bit,
grab some morning coffee like myself, and enjoy the market update from my friend Phil Kalinko.
There's a lot going on, and not everyone's telling you what needs to be told. So let's get straight into it. Okay. So the first thing this week that we've had is we had CPI numbers coming out, 3%. Now remember, the Fed is trying to target 2%. And at this rate, they're going to get there. We might even get disinflation at this rate if it continues this rate. Literally it was 4% the month before. It went down a full percentage point. The people who know a lot more about the stuff than I do still maintain that there's still going to be a 25 basis point hike coming out this month or next time. However, with that said, you can't argue that it seems to be getting closer to their target of 2%. We're now at 3%. But if you look at it on a year-to-year basis, PPI slowed down 0.1% year-on-year in June from 0.9% in May, which is lower than expected. And this is the smallest pace since August 2020, when we had all of that COVID stuff. So that's the first bullish thing that we saw this week, and that was really why we saw the dollar depreciating and the stock market pumping. And if you have a look here at the stock market, looking at it 7 days, this is NASDAQ, S&P 500. You see here that almost everything across the board is green, and the darker the green, the higher it's up. So you got quite a lot of dark green, a very lot of normal green, and quite a little bit of red, not so much of red. And you can see technology continues to be the leading sector here. The NASDAQ really doing incredibly well. Just this week alone, Google up 4%, Microsoft up 1.7%, Oracle up 3.8%, Adobe up 6% this week. CRM up 9%, Netflix up just under 1%, and so on and so forth. So the technology side is really pumping. If we look at the technology on the electronic side, NVIDIA, and after an incredible run, still continuing to rise, up 7.5%. On my portfolio, I'm up 1,000% on this. I even sold some about 2 weeks ago just to get some profit. Yeah. I sold some to get some profit, and it's gone up another 15% since I sold it, because how can it continue going up? And it just does. So we've just had an absolutely incredible week. Even finance, which has been in so much trouble, and again, as a result of these CPI numbers, finance is up. JP Morgan 4%. I mean, other banks over here 2%, 3%, 2%, 7%. So I mean, a lot of stuff happening over here, and even retail hugely up, everything except for Walmart a little bit down. Sorry about that, crypto dream, but that's the story. So stock market huge, but the big news as far as crypto goes is that we've got this ruling saying that XRP is not a security. Now, this is where you're not getting the full story, but I want to start with the bullish case, and I want you to understand the positives of this, and then I need to tell you something that no one else is telling you about this that's really, really important, and possibly what some people are starting to realize now, and maybe why we've seen a bit of a crypto pullback as a result of the last thing I'm going to show you. But the first thing, for those of you that don't know, there's been this court case between Ripple and the the Fed, right? And that's been going on for and that's been going on for 3 years at the moment. We finally had a landmark decision, a ruling. The federal judge in New York ruled that Ripple Labs XRP token is only a security when it's sold to institutional investors, but not when someone goes onto Coinbase as an example and buys the token. So this means that it's also going to happen that Ethereum will not be declared a security, Solana will not be declared a security by consumers, right? But it might happen with institutional people, but by consumers. By this, if Ripple isn't, we can safely say that Ethereum isn't, and that Solana isn't, and most of the others aren't. And that's why we saw the pump that we saw. If you have a look over here, here's Meta Lawman saying XRP as a digital token is not in and of itself a contract, transactional scheme that embodies the Howey requirement of an investment. So they were saying here that the last criteria for the Howey test is that the person buying, did they reasonably expect the money to be reinvested for a return? And that was not met in this case, according to this judge. And this is a proper ruling. Now, the thing with these rulings is that it does set legal precedent that can be relied on. And it's almost as if it's law. So now anyone at any stage, including Coinbase, is currently in this big fight with the Fed. They can come out and say, "Hold on, because of this ruling with XRP, now there is a basis in law that's proven, and that's a precedent, and therefore, how can we be considered a security?" and so on and so forth. So this is bullish news, and this is the reason that we saw the pump that we saw, right? And it's a big one. It really, really is. But then, the hard part about it, and what people are not telling you, is that this is not the final decision, in that it can still be appealed. So this wasn't the highest court. This is a high court, but it's not the highest. So the Fed can still, the SEC can still, sorry, I keep saying the Fed, the SEC can still appeal this decision, and I'm pretty certain that they will. And then once that appeal has been heard by a higher court, if it still maintains this court's ruling, then it is as bullish as everyone says it is. But for now, the ruling is in the favor and more positive than negative for crypto by far. And it's a great first step, but it's not the final hurdle between Ripple and the SEC.
Sheesh. Guys, that is the general. I was gonna say, yeah, that's the general gist of what I've been seeing from a lot of content creators as well. So if you guys are ready for Philip to drop the actual alpha, which is the information that their favorite influencers have not told you, you guys know what to do. You guys already know what I'm gonna ask. Guys, you gotta smash that like button. You gotta hit that subscribe. Gotta follow. We got all the fucking content for you. Philip, bro, drop it. What happened, bro? What's the other thing?
Yeah, so that's the one thing. For one, the SEC, I'll just read it directly. For one, the SEC still has the ability to appeal this decision made by the judge. Secondly, the final word on crypto assets regulatory classification can come from Congress, even with this ruling. Even if this ruling was the final ruling from the highest court in the land that could not be appealed, Congress can still make legislation that will be higher than a court ruling. So it's not ironclad now. It's a step in the right direction. It's a big step in the right direction. However, the SEC, and knowing how they are and the way that they just go to court with everything, they are going to appeal this. And when they do, there's going to be a pullback on all these tokens, the gains that we've seen. So just having a look at the gains that we've seen this week, because remember, this is part of the market update. This is on the weekly view. So if you have a look, Bitcoin sitting pretty much where it was, is down 0.16%. Ethereum, 1,933, up 3.5%. It was actually over 2,000 yesterday. But here you can see XRP is up 54% on the week because of
they
this
flew past
ruling.
80 cents, I think, at one point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it even went higher. I think it actually went to 90, if I'm not mistaken. I saw it there around 80 something, close to 90.
Even Dogecoin people are making money right now, bro. Everyone's making money right now if you're in the market.
Look, Solana was the big one because Solana is definitely one of the darlings, and people are deeply concerned that Solana is going to be declared a security. So when this XRP thing came out, Solana was a big winner here as well, up a huge percentage. Let's just make this a bit bigger. But they're currently $28. And here you can see there was the ruling. They were $22. So they went all the way to just under 30. So they almost had about a 40%. If you actually bought the absolute bottom and sold the absolute top, which is impossible, there was a 40% rise as a result of this to Solana, because Solana is sort of like, you got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then arguably Solana, BNB, those guys as the next one. So yeah, I mean, that's why you saw the big jump you did originally. But again, just be aware and be very aware that this, in my personal opinion, will be appealed by the SEC. And when the news comes out and people realize that this still has to go through another set of judges, then the prices will take a bit of a knock again for sure.
Damn. And when that happens, what happens after that, you think? Say it goes through and they appeal it successfully.
So then if they've got merit to appeal it and they find that they can be appealed, then it's another year. I mean, it goes to another court. They look at the judge. I don't know how it works in America, but I know over here it actually goes to a different court. So it goes to a higher court with a completely different set of judges if there is merit for an appeal. And then that court can look at all the evidence, and they can even call in previous witnesses, ask for more statements and more clarity, and almost have another court case. I don't know if it's the same thing in the States. If it goes to a higher court, I would imagine it does. I really would. And that it could take a few months before that court sees it. Then that court could need clarification, and it could be a longer process. But it will be appealed. Whether it will be appealed successfully or not is the $1 million question that no one can answer.
Jeez, dude, I still can't believe all those numbers, bro. That is like the most pump.
This is weekly.
So long, it's crazy.
Yeah, how's that? So Solana
up. Static for anyone else? I don't. It's probably because your power went out, Crypto Dream. But if someone else is hearing static, please let that be known in the comments.
And if Crypto Dream's power went out, he might be in South Africa, because that's where we have constant power outages. But yes, if there is any problem with the sound, please do let me know. But here you can see the bubbles on the week, really, really up, green across the board, the exception of XEC, BSV, a couple of others, but most of them are looking green, and some of them are looking incredibly green. Yeah, man, and that concludes your market update.
Damn, bro. Jeez. See Crypto Dream saying the thing is that's wild to me is I think XRP is working with the Federal Reserve for Fed now. Fed now? What is that? Should I know what that is?
I don't know what that is.
Fed now? I'm not sure. Oh, I think he's saying, wait, working with the Federal Reserve for Fed. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean, Crypto Dream. Is that your internet, bro? Internet's fucking up your typing too? I'm just kidding.
No, let us know.
Honestly, I don't even know enough about XRP to weigh in on that educationally in a way that could help anyone, other than like pretty much echo what I've been hearing, which I don't even know. Like, it's all I've heard is like this is a huge win for the crypto space. The problem is, because people's bags are involved, it's hard to know if that's a win for the crypto space or if it's just a win for their bags, because they bought XRP versus is XRP something that's good. Something I've heard generally from XRP is that does solve some problems, and it could be the currency that's run. And I see Fed. Okay, Fed. That's what I thought. It's probably so. It's the CBDC that they're looking for in the United States, which I've heard from many people now. And it was something I think you and I, Philip, talked about it like months and months ago, actually, about the CBDCs and our thoughts on it and stuff, and how I was kind of like, it's got to happen. There's no world where we don't go towards that. We're too desperate. People will take the bag, and then as soon as they take the bag, they sign over for their life. They say, "All right, bro, whatever you want, I'll take it because I want that money."
Look, And I saw Ron DeSantis said one of the first things he'll do if he's made president. I know that he's not going to be, but is that he would get rid of this CBDCs altogether. People are fully aware of the dangers of it. That all of your transactions will be completely open for view by the government. I think people generally want more privacy and less censorship, even outside of the crypto world, where obviously that's the case. That's the benefit of crypto. I think there's a long path for those to go to see, before CBDCs is a thing. And again, it will go through the courts also. So even once, if it isn't thrown out.
At $3,000 a month at a number like that, if that ever becomes even close to that kind of number, I just don't see a world where I wouldn't even blame them for it. It's just one of those things that like, damn, bro, like it's like kind of evil. It feels like it's like, whoa, that's crazy that they're going to this length, and we know it's going to happen. Like Black Mirror is literally a documentary on our human life, and like it's so obvious it's the direction we're headed. It scares me. That's probably why I've just started to look the world a little bit differently recently. I'm like, damn, bro, there's some really wonky stuff going on actually, and it comes from everyone just doing whatever they want and selling their soul for the bag, basically. Like whatever they need to do to get that quick bag is what they're willing to do. And it's a bit scary because if you keep doing that, we all know where it leads. It leads to a fucking life of shambles. And it's interesting because not interesting. It's just scary because that's the world we're kind of headed to. And it's going to be weird because there's going to be like almost like two groups. There's like people who are like against that and say, no, you must withstand all the bags and all the things they promise you and all these things that aren't really true. They promise you they're going to happen. And then you get them and it's not actually going to, fill that hole in your soul that you think it's going to fill. And then now people have effectively signed over their rights and now have all their money on this system thing. And then the US comes up with these new rules, these regulations, and now you can't do this. You can't travel on these certain days. And that shit is the scariest thing ever for me, bro. So I'm not sure if an XRP win is a win for anyone. If we take that angle, if they're the one working with the Fed for the CBDC, that terrifies me actually.
And they might be consulting with them, but they're completely different. I mean, Ripple's a completely separate company, and so they might be consulting them to try and help them from that perspective. But again, I think we quite, even though the government, the US government will tell you differently, I think we're quite a ways away from them actually doing it, because they're going to try to do it, and I think there's going to be a lot of challenges. You've got privacy rights, things like that. They can't just wiretap your phone or whatever. Again, I don't know the laws in the States, but I know here they can't even entrap you here. So I know in the States, I think they can, but they can't leave a wallet or a purse on the floor in the airport to see if when someone picks it up, arrest you. They can't do that. They're not allowed to. It's called entrapment, and they're not allowed to do that. I think they are allowed to do that in the States. So I'm not sure. It depends where you are. But I do think that this will be appealed if it does come through. And there's a lot of ifs. Bottom line is we'll worry about that when we get there. But that is the value of cryptocurrency. And that is why, a lot of guys are screaming Bitcoin from the roof and saying, look, you want to be custodian of your own money. And that's the whole point of it, right?
Yeah. 100%.
All right, cool. Let's jump into what is trending. So this is more NFT related. We have a look at the market. So the big news, which I'm sure you've seen everywhere, is we had a golden ape that was sold for $1.2 million, 600 ETH. Now, I actually looked at the transaction. The guy who sold it paid $2.3 million when he bought it. So he took a loss of 1.1 something. It wasn't exactly 2.3. It was 2 point whatever. But he took a loss of over $1 million in the sale over here. The seller is actually a bit of a notorious guy in the space for the wrong reasons. I'm not here to FUD, but I mean quite a proven problem. But I mean, look how clean this ape is.
Bro, if I didn't know any better, I would think that's Jimmy Fallon's ape.
Yeah. Very rare traits, a golden ape, the hair, cigarette, I mean, really rare. And yeah, but he took a $1.1 million haircut, which again, no one is talking about. You see it all over Twitter. All you see is look, we did a $1 million sale. What, and then there's all the biggest guys in the space tweeting this out. But what you aren't seeing is that the guy lost over $1 million in the sale. selling it now. And what's going to be interesting is to follow this gold ape and see in 6 months, does it sell for half a game or where does it go? But I mean, look, I think it's overpriced. The floor price at the moment $64,000. $1.2 million, even though it's a gold ape, very rare. I get it. There's definitely a premium to it, but this high, I don't think so personally. Anyway, that's the one. The second sale, which happened like 2 hours ago, so this is breaking news, is a CryptoPunk, the alien CryptoPunk, very rare, sold for $1.06 million 2 hours ago. 550 Ethereum. The alien punks are the rarest punks out of the lot.
Bro, they're also the ugliest punks of the lot. I don't care what anyone says. Those are so ugly. I cannot believe you would buy that. Even though it's rare, it's like, oh, that's ugly, bro.
Okay,
why would you
I actually thought you'd like him. He's got a goatee like you, and he's got glasses like you.
I mean, look, the glasses
I'm being
cool.
serious.
For sure, we got to respect the glasses, but there's nothing
and
else
the
about
goatee.
that tells me I would love. I mean, I know it's rare, but like, even if it's rare, bro, you still gotta go with it. There's no way he likes that, bro. There's no way. You
are the pixel guy, and you are the art guy, and I'm neither.
And what do you think about it? Would you want this one over another punk that's less rare but looks better?
I think all the punks are ugly, bro. I don't like pixel art. It's just my feeling.
What about the hooded
I'll be
ones?
Honest.
With the glasses and hoods?
No, all of them. I appreciate the fact that they were done a long time ago, and this was great technology at the time. They were able to put an image on the blockchain and create a smart contract. I appreciate all of it. But the art, as far as the art goes, I don't like pixel art at all. And this is
we're gonna need a yellow card for Philip here. This
is this is the worst level of pixel art because it's the earliest, so it's the most rudimentary.
I need to know what y'all think in YouTube right now. What this dude was thinking.
It could be controversial. I don't like pixel art, is what I'm saying. I think this begs the question. They're both over $1 million, give or take a couple 100,000. Yeah. Which one do you take, Kate? I give you $1 million, and I say to you, you can buy one of these two. That's all you can do with the $1 million. You can't buy like a beautiful house and car and boat and whatever else you can get. You can either buy which of the two do you buy?
I have to buy a beautiful, almost dang near perfect ape, or the ugliest punk in the entire collection. That is a tough decision. I'm gonna have to go with that ape though. I'm gonna have to go with that ape, and I will not even make it my profile picture. I don't even want that as my profile picture because it's not exactly perfect, and that is just not worth $1 million, bro. I'm sorry, that is crazy. $1 million in the floor.
Let me ask you this. Bro. Let me ask you this. If it was the best looking, like a hooded punk that you liked, would you rather take an ape or a punk?
I'll take the punk.
Interesting. It's interesting.
It's less risky of an asset. I'd rather hold the punk. I have less chance of being ridiculed in 10 years to hold a punk, in my opinion, than an ape. If I bought an ape now at $1 million, I would get made fun of forever. And especially because if then probably they won't ever get to $1 million for a floor kind of thing. I'm gonna look like a fool. They're gonna be like, bro, you bought the top of a dead collection versus, yo, you bought the first ever PFP collection because it's the first ever.
It's not the first ever.
Well, I know it's not the first ever. You know what I mean?
There are earlier ones, which is crazy. Why do punks get that notoriety,
no clue,
right?
By the way, no clue. But everyone else is
crazy.
So that's why you got to roll with. If you're gonna choose between an ape and a punk, you got to roll with. You got to roll with it. What about you? If you had the ideal ape or the ideal punk?
It's such a difficult thing. If I'm following, I'll give you my answer without going too crazy and making it long-winded. If I'm following my heart, I would do an ape. If I'm following my head, being my brain, I would do a punk.
Yep.
Because I personally really resonate with Bored Apes. I mean, I've owned a Bored Ape. I've owned every Yuga asset. A mutant, a dog, a Meebit, everything. Everything except the punk, which I would love to have had.
Clone X.
I've had all of it. I've had all that. No, but I'm saying I've never owned a CryptoPunk. I really, I've done incredibly well in the Yuga ecosystem. and I feel indebted to them, and I feel attached to them as a result of it. However, with their latest moves that they're making, I think that they're losing their footing. I did say when Gordon Gono was diagnosed as being ill about 6 months ago, I said on the show, remember we had a whole chat about it, that I was worried about the future of Bored Apes. I'm not saying that we're there yet, but I do think we're starting to see when you lose a founder who loves something and is willing to work day and night, even though you have one or two others, it always does affect the brand. So yeah, my answer is for an investment perspective, and there's not investment advice for myself, I think CryptoPunks will retain more value long term. However, for myself, I would rather have a Bored Ape. And as far as a profile picture, Bored Ape all day. I would never ever.
You would
if
make
I
it your
bought the
profile
punk,
picture, or would you keep it your face?
would
you find a way to incorporate it with your face, or would you make it the profile picture? Like I would probably incorporate it, because like you might as well, you paid $1 million for it. Like it would be on my shoulder or something, or on my shirt, or somewhere on the design, but it would still be my face because I'm a creator. But that's just me though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think I would make it my profile picture. I'll tell you why. It stands out enough because it's so rare. It stands out enough. It stands out enough that it's identifiable.
Do you need a hexagon for a gold ape? It's like, bro, this is clearly the most expensive ape, or top 5, or
one of the
whatever.
I mean, I mean, in today's market, to see $1 million sale is at, or $1.2 million almost, is absolutely incredible.
Also, I was going to add at one point about Goner, or Gordon, or whatever his name is. When he left, I remember listening to the Full Send podcast. So if you guys remember, they went on the Full Send like in 2022, maybe 2022. I think it was in the bear market, and Full Send, Kyle, the Nelk guys were talking to them. I remember that podcast. I remember thinking vividly, like, damn, these guys don't know anything that I don't already know from other founders with floor prices that is 0.01. And it was crazy because I was like, wow, they don't have anything within their head that's that much better. It was just great timing, execution. They got it all done, but it'd be very hard to replicate this kind of thing again. Like, I don't know if they could. I think it was a lot of luck. However, I also remember thinking, wow, if they got in for the reasons that they say they got in for, then the place that they're in right now is perfect. And then they got all this influx of money. The gaming became more of a thing. And then Gordon goes, I'm not really sure about this. And it resonated with me because I was like, yo, that's exactly what happened to me when I was working on the Ugaverse team. People who don't know, don't make fun of me. I know Ugaverse sounds kind of silly, but Ugaverse was a legitimate team. They're from Germany, legitimate project. Our floor price was over 1 ETH for like 7 months, 8 months straight. We were a successful project, right? And I was with I developed their branding and marketing on their Twitter for like the entire time. I would argue I'm one of the reasons that they were so successful in that realm. And then when I stepped away, because they decided to go the gaming route, they decided to go the whitelist marketplace route, which I was like, listen, I don't know why you think that's the right decision, but it is a very, very short game you're playing if you go that direction. I can't do this if you're going to do this. And they kept going that way. And so we separated. And what my point there is, Gordon seems to have separated once they decided, hey, we're going to take as much money as we fucking can, and then we're going to make a game. And I think Gordon was like, okay, I'm out.
I don't agree. I think
there was some mental health involved, but it was more, I think it was because he was like, I can't do this. This is not what I want. It's not what I signed up for. Now
I think he was working Web 3 hours, which is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
No
Caught up with him. He got ill.
He got tired. Yeah. Bro, they are the number one project in the game. It's like it would be like Steve Jobs walking away at the peak. And he's like, yo, we got all this stuff. Now we got everything we need to make the next thing. I'm going to leave. I feel tired. I'm done. I'm good. It's like,
I strongly believe it's legit what he said. I just want to show you here the Alien Punk was bought a year ago for $1.6 million.
Okay.
So also $500,000. Oh, $500,000. And it sold now for $1 million. So not bad. If you bought it's interesting, right? If you bought an ape, you lost $1 million in the last year. But if you bought a CryptoPunk, you only lost $500,000. Shit. So that's interesting.
Did you see?
We've got a CryptoPunk here, a hooded one that you like, Cade, sold for $400,000 this week. Another Zuki over here for 279,000.
Watch trading.
A bit more trading on a Zuki than we've seen in the last couple of weeks. A Trippy Ape here sold for $224,000, and then another Zuki. But we also have a D-God here, 167,000. They're doing nicely, and 2 Fidenzas in the top 10 as well. And that's what you're looking at over there. If you jump onto here and look at trading activity in the last 24 hours, Blur way down. Looks like those wash traders are slowly moving up.
Wait, no, that's the
first
one
time. It is the 1 day, but usually on the 1 day chart, we see 15 to 20 million on Blur that we divide by 3. It's the first time that I've ever seen Blur under 10 since they did their token launch. So definitely some stuff going on there. And then we've got OpenSea under 4 million at 3.93. CryptoPunks alone, 1.7 because of this $1 million sale that we just showed you. X2Y2, 750,000. Immutable X, 700,000. So between the top 5, you're looking at 3.5, 7.5, 14, just under 15 million dollars without adjusting Blur at all. And if we look at the top trending collections for the week, this is the last part of the what's trending section. We can see CryptoPunks sitting at a floor price of at one shows. I think it's around 45. And Mutant Ape Yacht Club sitting at 6.4 ETH. Bored Apes gone down from 36 to 34, but up from 30, so they're moving a bit. Captainz 6.8, we're going to talk about them actually today. Azuki Elementals 1 ETH, remember all the FUD there, they seem to continue to be dropping. Parallel Avatars, I have no idea what that is. 0.07 ETH. Fat Zuki, so this is the 7-day chart, So Fat Zuki really did well as their Azuki derivative project. I
almost bought one.
They finally crashed. They now 0.01.
I'm pretty sure too if I had bought it. I really thought about it for a second. I was like, yo, I could maybe pop
what
in on this.
Price?
What
price was it when 0.06 or something?
It was, I feel like it was 0.07 actually. I think it was like
absolute
top, I'm pretty sure it was. I also see Krishna saying I would have bought 100 Pudgies with that $1 million. I would have also done that. If there was one project I could get, it would probably be Pudgy Penguins, or maybe Utes. I don't know. I feel like I saw a post yesterday that Frank shared, and it was a guy who sold. I guess he sold his DGOD or he sold his Dust. Something to do with the Dust and DGOD's ecosystem. He bought a house, bro. That's the coolest thing.
I saw that.
A one story, just like a normal little house, but like, wow, he bought a home.
Yeah, I saw that.
So cool.
And he said, "Do you think I got rugged?" It would have been much funnier if he was standing in the entrance holding a rug that he was going to put in his house.
You should have brought that same.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we have a look at Fatsuki, I have no idea why we're doing it. The top was 0.09. Okay?
I did buy the top,
and
it just been fucked.
It just shows you guys don't buy the hype. But it is impressive the amount of volume that they've done, because usually crap like this doesn't appear on our 7-day chart. It would appear on the 1-day charts or whatever. Again, we're seeing good movement on the art projects, ringers. It's a good volume.
I feel like we need to do more research on the art, because like they have actually withstood every single market and done very, very impressively well. And I don't really understand their brand, and I don't really understand who, why, what everything is involved in that brand. Do you know anything about it? Like I don't even know art blocks. I don't even fully understand either. It's like generative art, but I don't quite understand how it is and stuff like that.
No, so art blocks is a collection of art NFTs. So the ringers falls under art blocks, right? So basically, it almost was like a launch pad in the beginning for artists. So you could come and you would do it under art blocks. I mean, Chromie Squiggles I think is also under art blocks, if I'm not mistaken. So it's the big umbrella for a lot of different art projects. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So that's really what art blocks came. And it used to be that they would appear under art blocks, so you'd have to go into a section on OpenSea for them, and then they separated all the collections under it. But yeah, I mean that's basically what it is. Remember the Ringers by Dmitry Cherniak? That's the one that sold at Christie's auction for $5 or $6 million.
Is that a 1-of-1?
The duck, yeah. So it's actually the picture that's it is a 1-of-1. It's the duck that sold at that price. And then Tyler Hobbs is famous for his Fidenders, which is generative art, and Snowfro for his Chromie Squiggles. They're just artists that have developed unique art that somehow captured the market. The argument is we know that physical art is always a good investment, and withstands ups and downs of markets and recessions and things like that. And often, actually, art goes up at the worst times. A lot while everything is dropping. Gold and art usually go up. And I mean, there's a chart that if you look at like general art, not necessarily digital art, general art. It's one of the best investments that you could have ever made in the last 20 years, as far as growth goes.
You want to sit on this for a second? Like, what do you think about generative art, owning generative art versus like, why would you buy art just for like, if you were gonna buy art, which kind of art would you buy? Would you want digital? To have a connection with the artist? Like, would it be for the video? Would it be photography? Would it be art? Would it be painting? Like, what would you look for?
Are we talking about NFT? We're talking about NFTs.
Yeah, but if this was going to be a purchase that you were like, I'm gonna buy this art piece, and I'm also gonna maybe you get like.
Are you saying an NFT?
Yes.
An
NFT that comes with a physical, so it's like a true art purchase, and you're gonna spend.
I would look at. Obviously, I would want to like it, so I don't like the look of the chromie squiggles at all. I mean, I don't hate them, but I don't think I don't appreciate. It's just colorful lines.
That's revolutionary. What do you mean?
So and these don't talk to me. Visually, I'd have to speak to me, but I would also be very, very interested in the history of the artist, and I would also be very interested in the amount of art pieces that this person has out, and if possible, I would want to know how many more pieces he intends on putting out, which is impossible to know. But if you look at like the ringers, there's 1,000, Fidenzas, there's 1,000. And chromie squiggles, there's 10,000. So straight away, just on that basis, I would rather have a Fidenza or ringer than I would a chromie squiggle. But the floor price reflects that.
Dekenza would be the best because we've both got those already for free.
Yeah.
Shout out Dekenza.
I haven't seen him for a while, man. The floor price reflects already the collections. So 10 ETH is the floor price for 10,000 for a collection of 10,000, whereas 80 ETH is the floor price for a collection of 1,000, right? It doesn't completely work out. But for me, I think ringers out of these three,
What if other art was on the table, like artist work that's like, the artist made this, or the artist painted this, or the artist captured this? Like, would you rather have one of those, or would you rather have one of these generative art pieces? And I'm not talking about mainly for say that no matter what you do, you will be able to sell it for more later, and it's expensive. Say they're all flat $25,000, you're gonna be able to sell it for a little bit more later. It will go up in value. Which one would you personally own and why? Because that's the question I'm trying to get to, because I believe that that's the core question when you buy art that you have to ask, because you don't know if it's going to go up. And if you're holding this thing, hopefully you've got a real reason that you bought it that wasn't just to make the money, because you just have to protect yourself that way,
If they're both NFTs and they're both and the one's generative versus one being just a digital version of an original piece of art, I would much rather have something that was painted by an artist instead of a computer. And if you're saying that they're both going to appreciate the same amount and they're both NFTs, so they're both in a way revolutionary, then I would do it. The only pushback is that generative art in and of itself is an innovation, and that might hold historical significance because it's now one of the first generative art ones. But aside from that, I would much prefer something where someone actually paints it themselves. But out of these three, if I had to choose, just looking from a trader's perspective, it has to be ringers. Because why? It's the same supply as Fidenzas, right? So 1,000 versus 999. It's half the price than a Fidenza, and there's notable sales. That duck sold for 6 million recently, so you've got high sales in this collection. So I would out of the three that we're looking at in the top 10, no brainer, I would go personally for ringers.
Damn, that's interesting. Yeah, I just want to hear your thoughts on it, because like obviously I have my own art collections. My supply is a fraction of these. Like it's literally like less than 100 total, and they're very different styles of art. And they don't have like the hype of like the crowd of Web3 behind them kind of thing. But they're like, I just know the type of person who buys my kind of art. And that's the kind of art that I also buy. That's why I knew that there would be a small market for my stuff. And I would just be able to flex on them in 10 years kind of thing. But I just wondered like how people perceive it when they look to buy, when they go to buy, like what are the things they're focusing on? Like for me, I for sure would love like the way I purchased almost every single NFT art piece in the bull run, especially because nobody's making content about it anymore, was just like, yo, I'm making TikToks. I like them. I like their videos. I like their hustle. I like their perspective on things, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, yo, I have these art pieces. I'm something I really care about. And like, for me, I had that genuine connection as a creator, I think, a content creator. And I think that was the bridge for me, was the content creator. It's like the bridge that allowed me to connect with them. And then I looked at their art, and the art was beautiful because they're beautiful. And I love the connection I have with them. And for me, that's the reason why I buy. And that's the reason why I created my collections, because I knew that the community that found me would be that exact same community. And it ended up being exactly that. And the reason I also posed the question was because I don't know what the community looks like in Fidenza. I don't know what it looks like in Art Blocks. All I can say is shout out Art Blocks, because y'all are the reason I was able to talk to Gary V at VCon, because Gabriel hooked me up, and he works over there at Art Blocks. So shout out Art Blocks mainly for that. But I always wondered what the community is, and like who buys these things, and like, are they talking? Are they knowing people because they're expensive? And I always wondered what kind of community is buying these kind of pieces.
It's less for community and more for financial gain, and the perception that it will be worth more later at this level.
True.
Yeah. So, but I would rather have the noble reason that you have for doing it. But at this level, I think it's the speculation. Also, you get very rich people who want to put things in their house that no one else has. And I think in Asia, there's quite a lot of like these interior decorators that people hire to decorate their house, that are pushing the NFT narrative. That look, this is you've got a digital version and a physical one. This is historical. It's going to increase in value. It's the only one. And yeah, I mean. But the one art project that I absolutely loved the art of, the visual art, was Galaxy Eggs. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember. They collabed with Bunchi Project. That's why I remember them.
I'll try to put it up here, because that was honestly,
that was cool.
That was a project that I didn't do any investigation. I bought it because I love the art.
Damn. You hold it still?
I think I have one out of the two.
Okay.
One, the floor went all the way to 3 ETH when it got launched. Those days were very different.
And they crashed. Something like 0.2 now or something.
And then they went, very down, and they went to 0.1 even. And then what I did is I listed one of mine at 0.75, with the floor being 0.1, and someone ended up buying it just randomly. Sometimes you get lucky. So here's the project, just for the viewers who might not remember or weren't here at the time.
0.06?
Everything's down. Okay, September 2021. But I just want to show people the level of this art. I mean, so they're all eggs. Again, there's a very big Asian appeal to that, because eggs are supposed to be lucky. Okay, you'll know better than me.
Eggs are supposed to be lucky, you said?
In Asia, yeah, there's something about eggs. You get the painted eggs and all of that. There's something big about eggs. But I mean, I don't know how well people can see this.
I didn't know that.
It's not showing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's cool. No, it's definitely cool. I wish, I don't know if they did. Did they do any kind of extra thing with the art? Did they do any kind of physical / frame or like anything like that? I feel like this would be perfect for that, because like these would be cool to like have on my desk or something. Like, even if it's like a also your audio cut out and your video cut out, but the screen is still showing, but I can't hear or see you, or I can see you but you're frozen. I don't know if you can see either. Let me know in the comments. But with the Galaxy Eggs, I would love because these are cool as fuck. They really are. But it's not enough for me. Even for 0.06, it wouldn't be enough for me really to buy this, because I don't really have an emotional connection to it. I am always looking for new artists, though. I'm not always really looking to buy, because quite frankly, it's just not it's not like we're balling out in this kind of market. It's not the kind of market where I'm like, let me just go drop hundreds and thousands of dollars on art for no reason other than to support. It's like, yeah, I'll do that when I can, you know what I'm saying? But like, I always am looking for new artists. And I will say one thing. I waited a whole year to purchase one NFT art piece. I texted the guy a year ago. I said, yo, I love your art pieces. I'm going to wait for one that speaks to me, but just know that even if it takes a year, don't write me off. I will be following you, and one day I'll grab one of your pieces. And a year later, I bought one for like 0.2 ETH or whatever it was. And bro, it was one of the coolest moments, because I promised him a year ago. I was like, I will come back and I will buy one. Just none of the pieces you have right now speak to me, but I love your art, and I know one will one day. and I will purchase that stuff. And so, or I will purchase that piece. And that was a beautiful moment for me. And it's one of my favorites. In fact, I'll see if I can find it right now while Philip is coming back to life. I don't know where he's at, but let me see if I can find this photo. When was it, dude? This would have been, if I go in my Instagram DM or my Twitter DMs, I'll find it. It was by this guy named Saj. And it's a very dark style. Like this is kind of the style. It's a little bit creepy, to be honest, but what it was at the time, it was pretty cool. So yeah, like I said, it's kind of weird, demented type of thing, but sometimes with that kind of art, it's kind of cool. And if I can find the message, here's the one I bought. It says, supporting NFT artists is something very important to me as an NFT artist myself. Certain pieces speak to me. Approximately a year ago, I told Saj I would purchase this piece called Fears. Today, I fulfilled that promise. This was the one. And I think at the time, I didn't know if this is the one that would speak to me. I just wasn't ready to purchase it or some variety of reasons. But I told him, I was like, I will grab one of your pieces. I just don't know which one. And I don't know when. And that's what happens when you, like, in certain communities with certain types of collectors. I know that if I exist and I act in that way, other people also exist and act in that way to people that they care about and to art that speaks to them. And if they, you know, if they're not just talking out of their booty, but they actually follow up things and they actually do things that they say they're going to do, and their word is important to them, they will follow through. And if you can find people that you can trust like that, it's a good type of person to keep around you. And that's something I try my best to do every single day. It's probably honestly why I've pushed into a more Christian mindset in the last few months, to be honest, because I've just been seeing all the nonsense going on. And yeah, dude, I look at some of the values that they have and I'm like, wait a second, if you do this right and you actually do what you're supposed to be doing and like actually follow through, then it pretty much outlines these same values. Maybe I've had this shit wrong this whole time. You know what I'm saying? So I think you should strive to be someone who does that, who's able to look in the face of like decisions that you know you shouldn't do, or oh man, I said I was going to do that, but like, fuck it, bro, I'm not going to do it. Like, that's where you lose respect for yourself, and they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you not doing that is the reason you're depressed, the reason you feel like shit, the reason you don't wake up in the morning. It's like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it matters. I see Christian in here saying I need a good PFP NFT like a Ute, Pudgy, or Mutant, but currently I'm broke as fuck. Listen, Krishna, let's change this. Let's adjust this narrative a little bit in your head. Because I also, by the way, have said the exact same thing within the same month that we just are watching this right now. Like, I have literally said on this stream in the same month of July, I need a PFP. I need the Mute, Pudgy, I need the Mute. I literally did the exact same thing. And then my slightly, and also, yo, let me do my shit, take care of my stuff, make money, do the thing, and I will just like that will just be the reality. I don't need to like put the energy of like I need this because I don't have it. I think when I put that energy out there, that's the type of person I end up being, who's just constantly like, I need the Pudgy. And then you get the Pudgy and you're like, fuck, I wanted the Ute too. And that fight never ends. So I know that's probably not what you meant, but I figured, you know, I don't know where I literally have no idea where Philip is. So I'm gonna just keep riffing. I'm gonna just keep talking. And I can't even control the screen because I'm technically a co-host, but it's his stream. It's on his channel. I just stream it to mine. So I can't even make it full screen. So I have no idea where he's at. I'm going to assume that Mr. Philip, our friend, has lost power or something like that. Oh, he's back. Our man is back. Bro, where did you go? Did you get abducted?
Well, I saw such beautiful art that I got inspired. I started painting and I had a revelation. No, the power went off.
Guys, he dropped an NFT collection.
The power went off in South Africa. We have something called load shedding. And because I didn't know, it's an unexpected cut. I had my heater on next to me. So that tripped the inverter, the backup battery thing, because it's not supposed to be used for heaters and stuff. So I had to go restart a whole lot of stuff. But I'm back. What have you been talking about?
Dude. You're just going to have to find out. I'm just kidding.
Well, I will find out. It's all recorded.
We talked about a little bit why I've started to kind of change my mindset, why I've honestly pushed into more of a Christian mindset than I ever have in my entire life. Because I was like, wait, these values align if you actually follow through. We were talking about like the kind of person you are, the kind of person who like follows through with things that they say. Like I was talking about one of the art pieces that I bought and how like a year ago I told Saj, the artist, I was like, yo, I'm going to buy this art piece or one of these art pieces once it speaks to me. It's just not today. I don't know why, but it's not today. And a year later, I bought that piece. And so I was just showing them that story, showing them the tweet about all that stuff, and talking about like the kind of person you want to be that person, and to fill yourself or to surround yourself with those kind of people. And if you can create that kind of community, it just makes it easier. And then we kind of hit on Krishna's comment saying, I need a good PFP. And we just kind of talked a little bit about mindset stuff. And so that's really all we talked about. GT is saying, I'm trying to get an access key soon. Yo, you and Crypto Dream both. And I really do appreciate both of you guys for that. It's like the ultimate way to show that you're on this fucking voyage with me. And I really do appreciate that support. So shout out to you guys.
Cool, man. I see also Krishna said earlier 100 pudgies. So the thing is, on the pudgy side of things, if I had 100 ETH, I wouldn't buy 100 pudgies. I would definitely diversify.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I would definitely diversify. I'd get into DGods. I'd get into pudgies. I would get into Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Or give me 8. Yeah, give me 8.
CloneX.
Bored Apes.
Bored Apes, CloneX, pudgies. Definitely Utes or DGods. Whatever, call it, no, one of them. Well, but then no, if you start doing that, then a Bored Ape and a Mutant, no, just call it Utes, DGods ecosystem.
What? They're different collections. They have different goals, different styles. One's a PFP,
it's
one's
the same
like
thing.
Huh?
It's the same. It's the same thing. Whatever, call it 5. What else would I want, man? Maybe a Captainz.
No.
See, huh?
You want a pudgy or no?
I did say pudgy. Yeah, that's already in there. That's 5. And then we say maybe a Captainz by Memeland. Give that a chance. Maybe a Beans or something, a Zuki. No, I'm not going to spend a lot on a proper PFP, but something like that. So let's do something art. The last one would be something art, because may as well. So I'd look at the art block side and decide on something there.
True. Damn, bro, left out doodles and moonbirds. Wow.
You always try. You try stuff with me. I just want to see if my screen is still going to work here. It should, because that's a different computer altogether. All right, Kato, you ready? Latest news, brother.
Yes, and yes.
All right, so the latest news, the biggest news of the week, and I think this is being underemphasized as to how big this is for NFTs, for the future of NFTs. This is a massive story that I think should be getting a lot more coverage, and people are not telling you how big this is. So first of all, you've got Google Play Store saying that they now will embrace NFTs. And in order to do so, whoever's applying needs to be very specific about what the role the NFT is going to play. Is it going to be for this or like? It's very similar to their gambling policy. As long as it's not that type of thing, they just need to be specific. But it's a major shift. And the second bullish news is that they've teamed up with Reddit, who we know have successfully launched, their avatars. And hundreds of thousands of them successfully launched them. And Reddit has been advising Google on how to make the Play Store policies the best possible way to allow NFTs, but also to protect their users and so on and so forth. So the updated rules require transparency from games that are using these tokenized assets, cracking down on anything that's exaggerated as far as NFT earnings or anything gambling like. Reddit works with Google to shape the policy, and it's going to take a while. So it's important to know that it's not going to happen immediately, but Google has officially updated their terms and conditions to allow for NFTs in the Google Play Store, which is absolutely incredible. And also, so I want to show you here, I had the actual tweet. Yeah. Today, we're pleased to share that we're updating our policy to open new ways to transact blockchain-based digital content within apps and games on Google Play. From reimagining traditional games with user-owned content to boosting user loyalty through unique NFT rewards. We're excited to see creative in-app experience flourish and help developers expand their business. From Joseph Mills, manager of Google Play, bro. This is huge. I don't think anyone understands how huge this is.
So here, so with this, how do I craft this question? With this, what is the result of this? Is the result, because I'm so torn on this, and that's why I'm so torn. Like, I don't spend much time on Twitter anymore. I feel like I'm detached a little bit from Web3. I still love Web3, but I'm so detached because I'm not really about what's going on right now. I'm not really loving what I'm seeing. I'm not really interested in what I'm seeing either. And I can't help but wonder, it's like, and almost liken it, not to make it political, but almost liken it to like the LGBTQ movement of like, okay, we did this thing. Like, for example, with this, like the Play Store now opens up opportunities for blockchain games. And then we go, oh my God, now what? And then everyone goes, nothing, we don't care. You'll just have blockchain games on the thing. Who cares? And then everyone goes, oh, so I guess we don't care. It's not good. And then it's the same thing, or it's like, it's sort of how I linked it with like the LGBTQ thing. Maybe they were like, I'm gay. And they're like, okay, fine. They're like, okay, well, you must care. You must do this. You must do this. You must do this. You must do this to get people to care. What do you think about this? Do you think this affects the prices, the morale?
No, I'm not. No, I'm saying that I've always maintained, and the reason I enjoy bringing you the latest news every week to our viewers and researching it every week is because I find this space fascinating, and I believe that Web3 and by extension AI and all of that is absolutely the future of technology in the world. And I don't want to be left behind. I want to be on the forefront of it and all the rest of that. So with that in mind, you got to understand that there are companies that are spending hundreds of millions of dollars each to try and make the best blockchain game. Right now, it's happening as we sit here. There are people doing that, and people who believe very, very strongly that blockchain gaming is the future. Why do they believe that? Because we've seen from Fortnite and the like of very successful games that the in-app items, the in-game items, are really where the pull is and where people enjoy the space. And here you can get that favorite item and with blockchain and use it in other games that you love as well, giving it much, much more value. And then also the same way that normal crypto and blockchain takes the power away from the governments in a way, and because so too here does it do the same for gaming. Because at the moment, if you're playing Roblox, you can only buy things with Robux in their ecosystem, and you're completely limited. And that's why the gaming world is fighting back so hard on blockchain games. They hate it. They don't want NFTs. All of this to do so. This by Web3 and blockchain games being becoming mainstream one day, and we're still a ways away from that, but we're starting. It allows us to take the power back as players and to really own the things that are ours, right, in a game, which gives it more value and more experience. And that's just one benefit of a blockchain game. So when you start to see someone as big as Google Play, who on Android is massive, saying, okay, you know what, we're going to do a complete U-turn in our policy, because up until now, we've not allowed NFTs point blank. We are now going to say, yes, we're going to, and we're not making it strict. We're saying as long as you disclose upfront, so we can educate our users upfront what this is and all the rest, as long as that's disclosed to us and you don't go against that, we will allow you to be on Google Play. Now that's massive, because overnight, this blockchain game that at the moment is only being seen by a handful of projects out there, because how many of us are in Web3 and NFTs? It's only being seen by maybe 100,000, 200,000 people, and those people don't even care, baby. Now all of a sudden you've got a market of tens of millions of people that can now download a game. And they don't care. They won't know it. They don't care if it's not being used as a currency in the game and whatever. They won't even know it's an NFT game. So all of a sudden, our market is a lot bigger, and that's why this is absolutely massive news and a huge win for the NFT or blockchain or Web3 space, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, so yeah, I should open up with that, because I also am in that boat. I am excited for it. I should have opened up more positively than just immediately go and be a cynic about it, or whatever the word is. I always like to play Devil's Avocado, just because I feel like it makes sense because this is it's a hard argument to win, because so many people are just going to argue, like, who cares? And you're right. It's like the beginning of that movement to where it's better. And then I'm like, oh wait, that's why I care, because now our favorite games have it. And now there's a whole new market of games that can come from that. And people like Alex Becker always say, like, gaming's coming back, the crypto bull run, blah, blah, blah. People are like, yeah, but but this, that, and the other. And you're like, no, I think we're missing the point. Like, there will be an influx of new games. There will be billions of dollars poured in because of this. Like, there can't not be. That's what will happen when the market lights up and when the opportunity pops in. It's the exact same recipe for why NFTs blew up. It will happen again. We just got to wait for it. But you're right, keeping up to date with all this stuff and be like, okay, June 15th or June 15th, 16th, whatever. Google Play Store gets on NFTs. Like, that's dope. That's another milestone. It's another check thing off the list. That part is definitely cool. So I agree there. I wonder what percentage of people in Web3 specifically today have iPhones and use Apple versus the Android with the Google Play, because this is a great topic. I feel like that'd be a great poll to put up. If I can remember to, I'll do it. But yeah, would love to know, especially on YouTube.
Usually when the one does it, the other follows, because they try to be in competition. The other thing you got to remember is that now incentivizes game developers who make their money by making games for Google Play to now know what blockchain is, what Web3 is. So it's definitely
how we said it would happen, bro. You're right. That's how we said it would happen.
It's a huge shift forward, and you compound that with the fact that they've got Reddit advising them. That means that they're taking it seriously, because Reddit has been one of the few massive companies that's been able to successfully show the way that you can use NFTs without making it about the floor price or anything like that. And now Reddit are the ones who are guiding Google in this play, which again gives it further validity. So yeah, man, we've got to put Janix in the corner over here. We're going to leave him in the corner because he's late. So this is the corner at the bottom here. Janix, man, welcome.
You missed everything.
Welcome. We need the doctor's note. Yeah, we just gave away $1.2 million. We were looking for someone.
Go to the moon.
Yeah, we were looking for someone whose username started with J. Couldn't find anyone, so we gave it to Crypto Dream.
Actually, what's funny about the XRP thing? It's like I saw select creators get extra excited about it. Which obviously it's okay. Obviously they had a moon bag of it. Obviously they're in massive profits. They just made a ton of money, probably 2x their account just now. So of course they're extra happy. It was just interesting because I'm like, the content creators are the ones leading and pushing the space forward 100%. Like, yes, we need the builders and stuff, but without the content creators, no one cares. No one even knows about it. And it's just funny because I'm like, it's something to pay attention to, especially in the bull run, of like, whatever the content creators you follow, including us, by the way, whatever we focus on, you can generically bet that that's the stuff we have our bets on, because otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it as much. And it's just something to keep in mind if you plan on copying people's investments, which unfortunately happens all the time. It's not what you're supposed to do. We're not financial advisors, clearly. And especially after we watched the NFT market, everyone post all their results of the 2 years of trading. And we saw that 9 out of 10 people, especially influencers, were down, horrendously down, by the way, not a little bit down, horrendously down. And very few people were not. I mean, Philip said it himself. He broke even with a massive Bored Ape purchase. For me, I basically broke even. I didn't sell a lot of the NFTs I bought because I bought them to hold. So that's probably why I took some L's. But like, most people that you follow, especially the ones pumping stuff, were down bad, bro. They were down bad. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. There are people who are going to focus on certain coins, and it's because they have bags in them. They wouldn't be talking about them if they didn't have bags in them. That's just my opinion. But I just don't.
Yeah.
That's just what I think.
I agree. I've never promoted anything. I like to bring stories where I see big Web2 companies embracing Web3. That for me is really where I like to focus, because it just illustrates again and again, and you'll see in the stories that are coming up, it continues with that big companies. I mean, Google is one of the biggest companies in the entire world, is embracing this technology. Reddit has successfully shown how this technology works. Starbucks, who we're going to talk about it actually tonight again, doing something else, are using it. Burger King have launched a program on it. So these are big companies. So my whole thing is just to show people that, look, Web3 is not dead. Yes, the Web3 as we know is always going to change because we're early. And so the Web3 equaling a picture of a whale, that there's 10,000 that look similar, and we somehow think that each of them are worth $100,000 and that's going to sustain itself. That's finished. That is over. But the underlying technology is that this is just the beginning. And we saw the same last week. We spoke about My Pet Hooligan is now officially an Epic Games Store, right? So we're now seeing these gaming studios and these gaming stores and all of that, these big ones, taking on these projects. And we've got guys like Axie Infinity who are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to develop the best games that they can for the Web3 space. And there's many other similar companies like that. So I think it's important to realize. Speaking of tokens and all the rest, This one, I promise you, I don't have a bag in because it hasn't launched yet. But there's been a little bit of news on the meme token that's coming out from Captainz from Memeland. So we had this tweet saying preparation for the meme coin drop. Max spot price is going to be 69.69 ETH or lower. Allowless spots. If you've got a human captain, you get one allowless. If you've got a shark captain, you get two. If you've got a kraken captain, you get two. If you've got a Kong, you get three. A kaiju captains, you get 3x. 3 alien captains, you get 10 whitelist. Whoa. And MVP, you get 12. Okay.
Yeah.
Potatoz get a whitelist spot as well. Obviously, they want to sell as much as possible. That's why, hey, you get a whitelist, you get a whitelist, you get 10 whitelists. I mean, the more they promote this, the more they sell, the better. And again, I mean, on the one side, I take my hat off to them for having the courage to go after a token when everything with tokens is happening, being declared as securities or not security, all the rest going on. On the other side, I think that it's a big risk to their project because it could sink them. You know, if they get charged. Huh?
It definitely could. It definitely could. It's
very
risky.
So
they're like one of the only ecosystems that potentially even could do it. They're like the only one with a real ecosystem built around that could work, where there's a reason to use it. But yeah, if they get docked, it's very possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We do know that the SEC is investigating Bored Ape Yacht Club. We brought you that news a year ago, and these things, the wheels of justice turn slowly. We don't yet know what's going to happen. So yeah, I mean, whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, we've got the meme token coming out. They've created a whole website for the meme coin. I'm in no way promoting this. I'm not being paid. This is news in the space. Captainz is a very big projects. If I ever promote, I had a comment this week. The reason I'm saying all of this, I had a comment this week saying, it sounds like you got paid for this promotion. I was talking about one of the top 10 projects. And I made it very clear that for me, I've been very successful in the last 20 years building and running my own marketing company. I do this as a pure passion. I just enjoy it and love it. I really make next to nothing off it. And I would never, ever put my integrity at risk to promote something without specifically telling you that this is a paid promotion. So I want to make that incredibly clear because that comment just pissed the hell out of me. But either way, they've created a whole website. Again, they're saying it like claim your whitelist as if you'd be lucky to buy their token, right? Look, if they do it right, they could have a short-term pump. I'm very hesitant. Any project I've seen, except for Bored Ape Yacht Club, who it's slowly going down, but most of the time it crashes within a couple of weeks or months. If it's an NFT project, right? So I'm very, very skeptical of these sort of things, but it is happening, and it's a big project in the space, and it's news, and so you got to know about it.
Also, will you go back to that Twitter thing before?
Yeah.
Did you see that Psychedelic Anonymous is trending on the right? Not to totally take it away, but I've not seen that name in a while. Just interested why that would be pumping.
I've got all their merch. I did it so well in this ecosystem.
Why are
20 hours ago? Whitelist. Official whitelist.
Oh, wait, is that real? Wait, what? Hold on.
New day something everyone PFP.
Trying to figure out why they're trending.
You figure it out, Kate. You figure it out. And let us know after. So I just wanted to show you, if you look at Captainz, current floor price sitting at 70 or 6.8. But if you have a look here, what I found interesting, the date of this announcement was the 10th of July. So if we go to look at the trading and we go to the 10th of July, it actually pumped a little bit and then dumped. And then now has completely come back. So the lowest low here was 5.2 I saw. 5.2, let's call it. Could be slightly off. And the highest high touched 7. 6.99. It touched 7. So, yeah, I mean, initially there was a dump and then a pump. And if we have a look at Potatoz, it played out in a very, very, very similar way, which always the sub collection does play out in a similar way. But again, you had well, it depends what time on the 10th of July here, 6 p.m. But you had a dump and then it's pulled back to 2 ETH over there. I just want to see what time this was. 6:37 p.m. Okay, so Potatoz pumped. People felt Potatoz were So obviously what happened here, right, just assuming, is people didn't think that Potatoz would be whitelist for the meme coin. And then when they heard about it, they bought them because they went literally from 1.5 to 2. And they've now recovered back to that point over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, just interesting to see. Always like to see how the floor price went.
Yeah, I was wondering why they were so high. I was like, damn, they're 6.8 ETH. That's pretty impressive. I thought they were like 5 or something. But yeah, man. I mean, again, yeah, this is pretty much this is sort of why I'm not sure. I think I really do like their brand. I think if there's any way you're going to drop an NFT project with an ecosystem that already exists like Memeland, I don't think there's another way to do it. Like this, I kind of like the way they're dropping it. I'm just so priced out that I can't really involve myself in it. But like, I think it's cool. I think it's more like, I don't know what the word is, but like, I don't feel as icky about Memeland as I do some PFPs, because like there's nothing the PFPs have to show for anything they've done for most of them. But Memeland's got like a whole entire company and a whole entire reason to exist, and they're funny, and it's a legit thing. And so I'm rooting for them. I don't know too much about them.
I've always said every time I've spoken about them, except for 2 weeks ago when I had a bit of fun with his comment about Web3 is all demanding and da da da. I said anytime I've seen a founder complain about Web3, there's a problem there, right? But other than that, I like how they always do. They do their thing their own way. They launched the MVP before anything else. They've really always gone to their own drum. The Potatoz evolved, and they launched the sub collection, the Potatoz, before the main collection, which we haven't ever seen before. So they've always beat to their own drum, which I always respect and like.
Yeah, I would agree, dude. I remember seeing that podcast. He went on Champ, the NGMI, K-Money and Champ back when they were doing that thing for a few months. I remember watching their podcast. It's actually pretty cool. He was a nice dude. I think he gets the game for internet culture, so it's good. It's like the type of person that succeeds in this space. So I'm not surprised they're where they're at. But anyways,
for sure.
Yeah, bro.
Cool. So I see a really nice question by Krishna. I'm going to keep it for the Q&A, Krishna, if you can stay around, and then I will both answer it in a lot of detail. Thank you for that. And guys, if you want to, you can put questions and we will come to them at the end. We've got a section at the end for Q&A, and I would love to do it. I love seeing questions. Great question. I'm looking forward to answering it for sure.
Specific questions are the way to go. Good questions like that are specific, with a real goal in mind. So I love that question.
All right, being an avid Bored Ape Yacht Club guy, big news in the space. Ape Fest has been announced. It's going to be happening August the 26th. It's going to be in Hong Kong. So it's got a lot of mixed opinion. Yeah.
Interesting.
Going to be not August the 26th. It's going to be in November the 3rd to the 5th in Hong Kong. August the 26th. They're doing something somewhere else, but the big one is going to be in Hong Kong. So a lot of different mixed results here. A lot of the community Bored Ape Yacht Club guys are very upset because the laws in Hong Kong against smoking weed are very, very strict. And the Bored Ape Yacht Club holders, most of them like their weed. So they're not so happy that a 3-day sort of festival is gonna not include weed. Gonna be interesting to see how many people actually end up going. I mean, because you literally have to, buy an airplane ticket to Hong Kong, organize accommodation. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. But they have, like always, created a great website to promote it. I guess, if you in Web3, and Kate, I'd be really interested to see what you think here. If you're a business in Web3, a big business, the whole thing is about bringing people together. Like the whole thing that took Clone X from 8 ETH to 2 ETH overnight pretty much was when they did a drop which was only eligible for Americans. Where they said you can only claim the shoe with the chip inside if you're an American. Now, they didn't do that to go against anyone. They did that because the technology can't be shipped overseas and shipping laws and whatever. But we saw that made everyone feel that, look, you don't understand. Your market is worldwide. That's what Web3 is. It can unite Philip and Cade sitting on other sides of the globe who have become really close friends. That would never happen otherwise. That's what Web3 is. You don't understand Web3. So I think, what Bored Ape Yacht Club is showing here is that they do understand Web3. And I would imagine next year it will be a completely different continent in a completely different country. And so they're not expecting all 10,000 of their holders, obviously, to pitch up. 10,000 of their Bored Apes mutants also can come. So that's 20,000 people. They're not expecting those 30,000 people to pitch up. They know that. But what they're going to do is they're going to go all in 30 years, they will have been all the to every continent, with a population worth going, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's quite bullish. And if you just have a look here, you can always go to this website. It's just apefest.com. Obviously, don't click on any links just in case you type it out wrong. But they're saying there's going to be local gems, so I'm sure they'll have some great local entertainment, community events, new merchandise, chill outs, hangouts, citywide, which is interesting to see what that's going to mean. And you can also join virtually. So what I'm interested to see is if they're going to use the other side for that. Because that will be really, really incredible. Because remember, the guys who are developing the other side have got a company that does do events overseas or international events where there's one big singer in the middle and you can come from anywhere and speak to people. So I think that would be the obvious play, but I don't know if it's ready yet. But I think that would be incredibly bullish. So again, if you've got Bored Ape Yacht Club or Mutant Ape Yacht Club NFT, you get in and you get a +1. Okay. Other than that, you won't be able to get in. You get free admission, Ape Meet Ape, citywide experience. So they're saying here, Ape Fest events will take place all over Hong Kong, something for every vibe, some more details to come, so you can plan ahead. I think they need to give details pretty soon because with international travel, people do want to plan very much ahead. Great. Then also join the fund globally. It says can't make it to Hong Kong with a way for apes to participate virtually. And we're also working with the Bored Ape Yacht Club community to host in real life events globally. Yeah, man. So that's what's happening. What do you think, eh?
This is like one of the best things I've seen from Bored Apes. The only thing that two things. One, if they're actually mad because they can't smoke weed, then I have truly lost faith in that entire community for sure. But that's actually like why they're mad.
I thought you would have gained respect for them.
No, dude, I mean that just shows how look, it's funny, but it's like it just shows how like weak the community is. Like if that's really why you won't go to China, that's cool. You want to go to China. Why would you not want to go and travel to Asia? Like, bro, that's got to be a joke. There's no way. It's like, I hope they're joking, but if they're not, that scares me. However, it also shows that it shows the lack. Like you see the clear lack because it's like, all right, you're going to go to China, which normally if I was a brand that I was excited to be part of, I'd be stoked because there'd be a reason I'm in that community that it's like true to my being. Like that's why I'm there, but with Bored Apes, it's only tied to the monetary value that they were able to get. And once that hype fades sort of, and that the date of which that you gained all that money has kind of drifted into the past a little bit, you don't really care as much. You go there and you're like, all right, especially if I'm sober, you can't even smoke weed. You're like, all right, why would I go to this Ape Fest? I don't have anything in common with these apes. There's no brand that holds us together. No, so, what is the brand that holds them together?
You're missing it. It's an exclusive sort of relationship building opportunity.
Well,
so
I understand that, but like, what about the exclusivity inside? Once you're in the exclusive thing, what is the value they provide that is so exclusive besides just getting in?
Networking.
You know what I'm saying?
Networking. But
like
with other people that can afford
people actually can help
150,000 PFP. They must have, so it's a networking event. And you can have fun at the same time. But at the end of the day, you get to meet high net worth individuals that there could be synergy, business-wise. And there could be other synergy because very few people in the world will spend this sort of money on a thing. So what does it mean? I've got someone that I've got something in common with. So straight away, there's a connection. We either both idiots because we've spent, whatever we've spent, or we're both geniuses. But either way, we're both the same. So there's an automatic bond from a social perspective. And then you've also got the ability for the networking event and the ability to have an experience. It's almost like those tours. So now you're going to have sort of a trip planned out for you, 3 days. You can choose to stay longer than that if you want. I get it. I think unless
that's different. If the experience you go to and the things that are provided for you are dope, then it's different. But if you go and there's no brand there, and when you get there, it's just a bunch of like parties. It's like one of those things where like this is why people are mad, because they would for sure, maybe, yeah, I'll go to New York for that, whatever. To China, just for the same thing, I don't see that happening. I think that's why there's not as much excitement, because for me, this should be the most exciting thing that they've put on almost ever. In my opinion, it should be. And it doesn't seem like that's the case, at least from what you said to me in the very beginning, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
No, so I think when it gets closer to time, it might be. Another thing that's interesting, because you asked, I'm looking for the tweet while I'm talking to you. They also recently said that they're going to be building up in a much bigger way. They're going to be building up a Ape to Ape marketplace where people can meet and exchange ideas and things like that. I don't know what they're calling it. Not a marketplace to sell your ape to each other, but where you can network virtually.
That's cool.
So they did, and so they're seeing the value in that. They definitely are. Yeah, look, I mean, you got to sort of understand it to do it. The other thing is, you got to remember, there's a lot of people that have built, forget the airdrops and forget the free PFPs and forget everything, all the money that you made if you minted a Bored Ape or even bought one under 20 ETH in the beginning, and you got a mutant, a dog, and a land and ApeCoin and all the rest of that. Forget all of that. There's a lot of people that built massive businesses and brands off their IP of a Bored Ape. I mean, the Bored Ape was really one of the first ones to give you proper rights over your PFP. And so, you know, you could just get ideas from other people. I mean, I just think there's going to be a lot of brand representation there from the people who have done it. Yeah, I mean, look, it's an interesting approach, but I do think that they've hit the nail on the head. I would have just said next year to be held, and I would have actually given that location now, just so people could sort of put together what we're saying, that this is their intention, that every year they're going to do it somewhere different. If you can't make it this year, you'll make it next year. But I think a lot is going to hinge on how they're able to do this virtually, how well they pull that off for the people that aren't able to be there in person. And if they do that well, this could be incredibly bullish for the project.
Yeah. I see Crypto Dreaming here saying China and slave labor. Dude, yeah.
I saw that as well.
There's slave labor here too, bro. There's slave labor everywhere in our world right now. But yeah, China for sure has got a lot. China's a little bit.
Okay.
But
enough political talk. You already brought up politics in the beginning, hey?
What do you mean? He left a comment.
I know, but you don't have to read every comment that's left.
Oh, it's an important topic. What do you mean?
We're not a show on slave labor.
I just made one comment about it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I've got no problem. All I'm saying is that I don't want to discuss slave labor. I don't know enough about it. And I don't want to. Alrighty. That awkward moment. Cool Cats. I don't know if you've seen this, my brother. So they've said they're going to launch 3 new games. I'm going to just read it to you so I don't get anything wrong. They're joining forces with 3 gaming publishers: Enway, Eye Candy, which is within Animoca Brands, and Sync Studios. These collaborations aim to create fresh games featuring a Cool Cats brand and characters. The triad of games is currently under production and will be launched between late 2023 and early 2024. Announcement marks another step in the Cool Cats ongoing venture to mainstream. Notably, the enterprise recently disclosed a strategic investment from Web3 Titan Animoca Brands. Gaming in the is... Guys, sorry, I'm going to have to make this bigger. I don't know if I'm getting old or if it's just too many lights facing me. Gaming is an immersive content distribution platform that builds an emotional connection with the characters and the story through engaging gameplay. Our new games are critical to our ongoing mission to developing Cool Cats into a globally known character brand and robust storytelling and content company. Within Enway, Art Candy, and Sync Studios, we're partnering with 3 innovative leaders to provide immersive gaming entertainment to engage our current fans. Look, I'll just say that one thing can be said over here. These guys do not give up. They came out, they said from the beginning that they were going to do a game. They lost their project almost, trying to do this Catopia that completely flopped. They then brought Animoca Brands on to help them. They've now partnered with 3. You got to give it to them. They said that they're delivering a game, and they are going to deliver a game. Whether it happens in 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, regardless. Shame, Crypto Dream's nervous. He feels like his parents are fighting, Kate.
All good, bro.
There's
Don't worry
nothing. Don't worry. We all good.
That's hilarious.
So, Kate, what do you think about Cool Cats, my brother?
Dude, listen. The only thing I have for Cool Cats is nostalgia from their 10th floor and the feeling I had of wishing I had bought one. That's the only real thing I have about them. Other than that, dude, it's just been L after L after L. They've just faded into like, they just like, people just don't care. It's actually interesting to me because of like I guess I'm surprised of the OG projects that haven't made it. I guess I'm not surprised. Like it's World of Women that has made it because their branding is stronger. And then who else? Like what other OG projects I'm trying to think besides?
Are you saying World of Women has made it or hasn't made it?
Well, like, how do I say this? Like, you know, World of Women's out here like partying with Barcelona and stuff, and like Cool Cats is just trying to.
Okay, but they haven't. That's the first freaking announcement that we've had in an entire year and a half. They have done absolutely nothing up until now. So I don't know if they're back. I mean, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
You're right about that. For some reason, I thought World of Women was higher up as far as like value on the floor price. But as far as
I don't know. They might be.
I don't know. I'm torn on this one, bro. I'm torn on it. I've heard so many people just lose all their faith in them, and I'm not sure why. Like I'm not specifically sure why. But yeah, I guess so.
Again, you see the pump. Well, I mean, a small pump from 0.685. The top was 0.75. Now back to 6.9. Actually, it's sitting at exactly 6.969 the last sale. So the community is still strong. You could tell by that floor price. Look, as I said, you got to give them credit from the perspective that they haven't wavered from their floor price. So one of our big criticisms of Moonbirds after they stole your right to be able to use your PFP however you wanted was they kept changing the roadmap. They were going to deliver high rise. They then said they're not going to do that. They were going to have the meetup. They then said they're not doing that. Then they said they are doing it, but you're going to have to pay even if you're a holder, but it'll be discounted. They just keep moving the goalposts, right? Whereas Cool Cats has it, bro. You've got that's. I'm just respecting them for that. I think they underestimated how hard it is to build a game with good intentions. They underestimated it, and now even though they've realized how hard it is, they are going to deliver this game. Again, I think they're being incredibly optimistic to say 2023, 2024. I really do, but I admire them for sticking to it and for carrying on. I really do, and keeping to it. They could have very easily called everyone together, a whole community thing. Listen, guys, we're no longer doing a game. Who wants to buy new T-shirts and hoodies? Right? No, we betting the kitchen sink on this. That's it. It's the game or nothing.
I'll torn on this, bro. I had a podcast with Minnie from Zen Apes. She was the founder. She was I think they were in college, so she was like 20 when she dropped the project, and they wanted a game. Like they wanted the game, and so they spent all the money pretty much doing it, knowing that in 6 months, y'all are not going to want this game. And sure enough, 6 months later, the game came and they say, why'd you do this game? Because that's what y'all wanted 6 months ago. What do you mean? And that was like kind of what dug the final nail in their coffin. It's interesting because with this, what other choice do they have? Like, what else can you do with a brand that doesn't quite have anything other than it's pretty cute? And, they're just like, I was about to say like a knockoff Pudgy Penguins, but I don't want to put it like that. But you know what I mean? Like, they don't have that it factor. Like Pudgy Penguins now has that it factor, and they got to carve something into their niche. I don't know what they would or could carve into it other than some type of story content thing that Pudgy and Sappy Seals are doing. I feel like they should, though. I just feel like they should somehow incorporate the art in a style of content versus a game. I just don't see anyone playing the game. And I just feel like it's a big waste of time and money for this point, unless the it factor is something in the game that they know that they got that we just don't know about.
Maybe. Otherwise, the fact that they partnered with Animoca. They partnered with Animoca, I think it was 8 months ago. They really are committed to this game side of things.
Yeah.
As I said, it will either make them or it will break them. But in the end of the day, I mean, I used to be a Cool Cat holder. I was a very proud Cool Cat holder. I earned my milk token. I went into whatever they call it, Utopia or Catopia or whatever. And they had some good things going. They really, really did, even at that stage. So it's going to be interesting. I think you're right. They do definitely have the cute thing like a Pudgy Penguin, and if they got a guy like Luca, I think they've got good IP that they could bring in. I think, and I stand to be corrected, I think they launched before Pudgies.
Yeah, I think
June
so.
2021.
Yeah,
Let's see a Pudgy.
Sure check that out. Also, I was going to say with Zen Apes, I'm not sure if it was a game that they created or if it was like another pixel collection. There was something they created that basically 6 months later they didn't want. But
yeah,
anyways.
You see, Pudgy Penguin was July 2021, a month after Cool Cat.
Got it.
So yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. You were saying, what was the other one? Sappy Seals. What's the floor price of Sappy Seals?
Because we saw maybe 0.5. Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, look, Cool Cat is holding 0.67. We know that floor price isn't everything. However, that's interesting, right? That they're holding a higher floor than Sappy, and Sappy's also building a game. Hey, that's a big thing of what they're doing as well.
True.
So yeah, man. Yeah, going to be interesting to see what happens. Again, Cool Cats is a slow burner. With my 100, what did we say, $1 million that someone spent on their gold ape that we trying to see what we're going to buy, maybe you put one Cool Cat in there in case they pull this game off, and in a year's time at 10x's. You know,
culture.
Yeah, we'll do a Cool Cat. We'll do a Sappy Seals. We can do a sneaky Vampire Syndicate. We can do a Doge Pound. I'm saying if you want to do for nostalgia, you definitely need those.
For me, I never got into Vampire Syndicate. I just didn't like the art, but I knew why people got in. I obviously knew why, but for me personally, I didn't. But I agree. I think that if I had $1 million, I would go and buy up one of each nostalgia collection just to have it, and I would more than likely floor it after a couple weeks just because I got the dopamine high of buying one. But I probably would buy a Cool Cat, a V Friends, Mutant Ape, Cool Cat, Crypto, just to have it for a sec, and then be like, yeah. Why do I hold this? I would hold some. I would hold a Pudgy. I think it's cool. There's a few that I would hold, but very, very little.
The shizzle. All right, we got 7-Eleven, and they are launching their free Slurpee NFTs. So for most people, the 11th of July is just another day, but not for 7-Eleven. They're going to be turning 96, but always on their birthday on that day. They used to, in select locations, give out free Slurpees. Based on the location, it's up to them if they give it out. This year, they're doing it via a Polygon. So it's the Find Your Slurpee Vibe digital collectible. Their first foray into NFTs, and it's going to be, as we said, on Polygon. You can visit the 711.com website, so it's 7-11.com via mobile phone, and mix your classic Slurpee flavors like blue raspberry, cherry, pina colada, summertime citrus, and then mint their creations as a digital collectible. And you can't trade it; it's not going to be tradable, but you can then take it in, and you'll be able to redeem it for a Slurpee, right? So it's just a way of doing it, and then you'll still have the NFT that you could keep for nostalgia purposes. Again, the NFT cannot be traded, but it's using NFT technology to get you to visit their website to mix the flavors you want, so that you'll then get a unique NFT from the perspective of it will be a choice of the flavors you want, and you can then redeem that for a Slurpee that is those flavors.
I love it, dude. I love it. It's just it's becoming more of a normal thing, just like a chill, extra thing you can do if you want. I think that's cool. There's no reason to hate something like this, you know? It's cool.
Exactly.
Polygon, it's always Polygon too, bro. It's always Polygon that like the good, just like nice
sure.
good news comes from Polygon. I feel like
Starbucks, yeah.
I don't want to
Web 2 going into Web 3, and that's exactly what I was saying in the beginning. That's the sort of stuff that I think is important to just keep an eye on, to say, look, these are the names that are coming in the space, and every week we got 5 or 6 new names, big names. You know, 7-Eleven is massive.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the latest one that's coming onto it. And we've also seen Slim Jim, Taco Bell, Burger King, other guys also embracing NFTs. So it's not like this is a once off and whatever. It's just again to show mainstream brands are starting, the marketing departments of these mainstream brands are starting to pay attention to blockchain technology and seeing the value that it can bring, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, bro. Oh, my pet Hogan in the chat. Kile, what's up?
Yeah, Kile, I see. I think there's a second week in a row. Kile came last week. That's another one we would buy. We said my pet hooligan as well. So we need a bit more.
Sure. For sure.
I'm not saying we need more than $1 million. We need more than 8. Not more than $1 million, but more than 8.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. We got Starbucks who we know has got their own reward program, partnering with Akutars, the NFT collection.
Ooh.
Do you remember Akutars? I'll show you them. I know them pretty well. So it's quite a surprise because Starbucks has rolled out their own reward system on Polygon. They announced a partnership with Micah Johnson, Akutar Collection. Through the deal, the company has launched a special journey called Aku Adventure that begins on the 17th of July and will run until the 13th of August. Members of Starbucks Web3 loyalty program will be able to embark on a mission with Aka, as well as to collect new stamps of the mascot. The collaboration is the latest from Micah Johnson and Akutars, who recently partnered with Beats by Dre to debut an Aku-inspired set of headphones. Johnson created the original Akutar mascot after hearing a young boy ask his mother if astronauts could be black. The collection is meant to inspire children to dream big and has drawn attention from mainstream media outlets all over the world. As part of the launch, Starbucks will donate $100,000 to Blessings in Backpack, a non-profit organization that tries to alleviate food insecurity amongst children. Starbucks makes moves into Web3, so we've seen that. And then here we see the tweet by Micah Johnson saying he's extremely excited and grateful to be partnering with Starbucks. He's tagged them. Kate, I knew you were going to ask, did Starbucks retweet? I've checked, they did not retweet. However, with that said, they're not very active on YouTube. On Twitter. So you can see here, they just retweeted one or two things here, but their last post was the 23rd of June.
Like 3 weeks then.
Yeah, so they're not that active, but I would have liked to retweet just to be able to back it up. But knowing Micah Johnson and knowing Akutars myself, I know that they wouldn't say this unless it was true. I know that for a fact. So, but I would have liked to see a Starbucks retweet. And here's the collection. I don't know, does it ring a bell now?
I've never seen that before. I don't know if any.
No.
Is that a well-known collection? I've literally never heard of that. Akutar?
You know who's big? You know who's big on it? You know who's very big on these? Pio from the Nifty Portal.
Oh, is he?
He loves Akutars. He's always spoken about them. And there was a whole journey, and you got different versions of them. I've owned a couple here and there. But also interesting, they did have a full price pump as a direct result. Again, nothing massive from 0.08 to 0.1, which they've held. And he is known for coming out with these collabs, and he does that really, really very well.
Listen, bro, I can't really say I support anything that Pio says anymore, because I saw a TikTok yesterday and he was listing out Christopher Nolan movies that suck and don't suck. And this man said Inception and Interstellar are not good movies. And I was like, bro, how do you say that's not a cinematic masterpiece? I could not believe it. And I went to the comments, straight to the comments, and they validated me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but no, that's funny. That's very cool though. That's very cool that Starbucks is getting there. Yeah, you're right. I would love to see that retweet too.
For sure. I would you have asked that if straight away to me? Did Starbucks retweet it?
I'm not sure. I probably would have. Yeah, I would have been like, "Yo, is this a real Starbucks thing, or is this like a?"
Yeah, I'm getting to know. It's not retweeted, but it is real. And I'll put my head on the block and say that, which is cool. All right, guys. So here we are, live Q&A. Is our spaces still going, Cade?
Yes.
Is anyone in there?
Yeah. Y3JC, Connor. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Just hit the bottom right icon. It's a little message icon. Probably has number 2, might be purple, might be white, and hit that. If you have a question, drop it in there, fam. If you're in spaces, or if you're on a video stream as well, I'll have my notifications tab pulled up. So if you do leave a question, I'll see it.
Yeah, and you can also request to speak if you're in spaces on your cell phone and you want to speak. You're welcome. So let's start. Got from Krishna. I just have to go up a little bit. All right, so here's the question. Hey, Kate and Philip, how do you both manage to create so much content? Philip uploads a lot of videos with good thumbnails, etc. How do you approach content creation? Do you overthink on thumbnails, things like that? Kate's the content guy. I don't know, Kate, do you want to take this first? Do you want me to answer it? Because what do you think?
I can. I mean, yeah, with mine, I just observe lots of viral thumbnails, and the Mr. Beast one's pretty solid. Big face, big reaction face on one side of the screen or in the middle. and then a very, very like you want to keep it simple. You don't want clutter in the thumbnail. You want it to be a clear, like, this is the face that I recognize. So Kate's face, in my opinion, in my situation. And then whatever the topic of the title is, I want to complement that title with a visual. So I don't need to reiterate what the title says. I don't need to say it again. And like if the title is, XRP goes to the moon, I don't want to, I guess I can for very, very simple things like that. Maybe you can just get away with like XRP on the screen and a rocket ship. But generally you don't want to copy the title. You want to make it complementary to the title, in the sense that they could almost be separate without the other and be okay. And so whatever you can do to make it simple, though, a lot of times I stick to with like one color scheme, one big subject, and then me. I try and keep it simple. And especially if you have a show like this, like the Web3 show, we're going to cover 12 topics. It's hard because you have to choose between, like, do I list out all the topics so people know what to expect? Do I pick the best story? I don't want people to miss the other stories because they only saw XRP in the title. And you kind of have to make that decision there. And that sort of changes based on everything. Like, you kind of have to just sit there and weigh it out and be like, okay, what's the biggest story here? What will at least get them into the door? And then will they stay? Is the chances of me saying XRP goes to the moon in the title, or should I say XRP, Cool Cats, Starbucks, 7-Eleven? Like, which one will get more attention? And that's something you kind of have to just play with, and you figure that out as you do trial and error, and you just look at your content and say which content hits better, which titles hit better, why did it hit? So that's generally my approach with content creation, specifically with thumbnails.
Yeah, Krishna, I don't know. I feel underqualified to. I'll give you. Personally, I'm not saying it's the right way because I feel underqualified. I really do. I'll say that for me, because of the market that we're in at the moment, which, if you had seen me 2 years ago when I started this, I was doing a show 5 nights a week live. 5 nights a week. Yeah, insane. Absolutely insane. Prepared. One was a new show. One was upcoming projects. So projects that hadn't yet minted, that looked like there was potential. Another one was projects that had just dropped, a post-drop analysis show. We went mad. Moreland would do a gaming show once a week, and then I would just do a show where I spoke about whatever was going on that week, and then we'd do a Freestyle Friday where...
How did you have time?
We made time. I was working and I was project manager, not project manager. What do they call it in Discord when you're running the whole thing? Community manager for 3 projects at the heart of it at the same time.
Were you still doing your job or not?
Not as well as I should have been. But at that point, I was making more of Ape pictures and stuff like that than I could ever make at my job. Like $100,000 on a picture of an ape in a month. I was like, okay, well, let me give this a bit more time than my normal job. So my normal job did suffer. But there was legitimate time for about 4 or 5 months where we were, both Moreland and I, were sleeping maybe 3 hours a night, maximum. Every night, 7 days a week. And then we would meet and discuss the next week's things. It was too much. And but in this market... It was like make hay while the sun shines. We knew that there was a limited time.
Bro, the energy was so like
you gotta go.
Like for months straight.
For sure. Dude, now it's a different story. Now it's a different story because, I think if you try to do, I never want it to be like we're reaching for topics. And I think with the amount of news that's coming out and projects that are coming out that are worth talking about, like the whole of this month, we've maybe had Ether is the only project worth talking about.
Not bring that up, by the way.
Not today, but we spoke about it last week and we spoke about it the week before. So for me now, it's very different to how I would do it if we were in a bull market. So for me now, what I do is I do the show with Cade, and then I break it up. We edit it on my side to make it into separate videos because a lot of people, and I get feedback on both sides, negative and positive. A lot of people said just do the long form, and I do that. Other people have said there's no way I'm watching 3 hours, but I would be interested in just the Yuga stuff. So please can it be a standalone Yuga video? So I'll then chop up the video and then, do it. My wife does all the thumbnails for me. So I don't overthink them. Whatever I get, I get. That's how I get them. She helps me. She's happy to help me. And that's what happens there. In the absolute bull market, I had, it wasn't Bianca doing the thumbnail. I had someone else doing it. I had someone else contacting new projects to see if they wanted to be on the show. And I had someone else helping us with whitelist opportunities that we could get. Now it just doesn't make sense. So that's how I do it. I take the one long form and then I break it up into little videos that I put out there and see if anyone's interested in them. And yeah, that's my approach.
That's the move, bro. That's like the journey of the content creator. Eventually you hire someone out. Eventually you get someone who can do it better than you. That's like once you've done it yourself for a long, long time. I mean, I edited every single video for 2 years or 10 years technically, but 2 years in NFTs before I even considered getting an editor. I never thought I would find one. And then GT pulled up and said, yo, I've never edited before in my life, but here's what I got. And I said, oh, wow. If that's what you've got in your first try, then I will invest in you, my friends.
You see, I'd like to do more like edited stuff, like in the beginning when we spoke about the XRP stuff, and get that edited, any of my ums and whatever out of there. I wouldn't mind doing more of that and getting a proper editor. But for me at the moment, it's really simple. I'm just cutting up a video. I don't need any. It literally takes me maybe half an hour to cut it up. The thing that takes time is the keywords, loading it on YouTube, the thumbnail, the description, making sure I've got, because I like to put the sources of my content in it. So the end screens, the beginning screens, that stuff is the stuff that takes more of the time.
I was gonna say one thing you could do that would really capitalize, which may not be in this market, but like because you already cut up, like say the segment's 10 minutes, right? Instead of an hour and a half, like the show, or 2 hours. If you got an editor and said, okay, this XRP segment is the best one of the lot. This is the one I need to make a good edit with. So take this 10 minutes and turn it into one and make it sick. That's what I would do if I was you, because like you can choose, which one's the biggest story. Maybe there's 2 1 week, maybe there's 0. But if there's one that you're like, I need people to see this, but I don't even think they'll watch 10 minutes. I need them to get the quick and skinny kind of thing, that might be something like that's for sure what I would do. That's what I try to do. Just in this market, it may not be worth it, but
no, I hear it for sure. All right, we've got Kile. What's your take on blur lending? I'll start with this one because Kate started with the last one. Look, I think it's very important, and I've got my one video that no one watches, which is my most valuable one, called my in real life investment video.
You need to just retweet that, through. By the way, retweet that and continue to post it every few months because people should see that video. People should see that.
I'll put the video out. It just takes you through a little bit. I'll put it on Twitter for anyone watching now. Will get to see it.
Do little segments, little 1 minute segments, parts, and you get people to watch the whole thing. It's a really beautiful video. I think everyone should watch that.
Thank you. But I mean, it's just my story and my personal, not advice to anyone, my personal way that I've invested in my life, and been able to, from absolutely nothing, build myself up to where I have today. And that's something that I think is really, really important. So I think with knowing me, and by watching that video, you'll get to know me better as a very cautious person, and risk adverse. Because my dad lost all of his money by being a little bit of a risk taker, and I've gone the opposite way, maybe arguably too risk adverse, which is ironic that I'm anyway involved in NFTs and crypto because they are so risky. But either way, I've always made it very clear that you should only be playing with money that you can afford to lose, and even then you should, in crypto and NFTs, and even then you should only be playing with a tiny percentage of the money that you can afford to lose. And if you don't already have a house and a car and whatever, then I wouldn't be putting any of it. I'd be paying my house off first. I'd be paying my car off first before I would be looking at doing anything. So I think it's important to say that. The reason that's important in this question is I don't think anybody should be buying a risky asset, whether it be an NFT or cryptocurrency, as a loan. I don't think at all. I think it's absolutely irresponsible. You lending money to gamble, and that can be very, very dangerous. Also, the interest rates on it are huge, and it absolutely makes no sense unless you've got insider knowledge that for sure that this collection is going to pump, because in a week's time they're going to announce that they've got a huge collab with Coca-Cola. And then, okay, lend as much as you can and buy as much as you can. And you have to know 100%, but that's insider trading. But I mean, it's blockchain, so who cares? But other than that, there's absolutely, in my opinion, I think it's irresponsible for anyone to lend money to buy a risky asset. That's my take on it personally.
Yeah, dude. Actually, it's funny. I put out a tweet and I responded to Zeneca, And I forget if I asked him directly or if I just posed the question. I was like, I think just the question was like, why haven't you been canceled? No, you should be canceled, Zeneca. But in like, I met him at VCon in person, and he was just a normal dude. But I remember I asked him, and I was like, I'm surprised you haven't been at least tried to been canceled because your involvement with Blur in the beginning. Everyone knew you were, it was a big thing and very bullish in the beginning, and it turned into something that everyone hated. I'm surprised you haven't been canceled publicly that I've seen at least. And he was like, bro, I have been canceled multiple times actually. And I didn't know that. I still don't know if that's true or not. That's just what, or maybe that was his perception. Maybe it is true. But with Blur, it seems like the majority of people are like, yeah, this ain't good overall for the space. I don't participate, dude. I don't know enough about Blur. I don't use it. I'm not really a trader like that. It's too degenerate. I don't have enough money to trade like that. And I definitely don't have enough money to be taking out loans, dude. Like, no way, dude. Not for me.
So I put that tweet out and Zeneca answered it, but I saw the answer was a little bit bitter towards what you had said, and I think I felt he had misunderstood what you were saying. I felt like he felt like you were doing a call to action for people to call him out. That's how he perceived it. And so and he had commented, and so it had like 1,500 views. You can see the views, which I'd never get more than 100 within 3 hours. And I deleted the whole thing, and then I messaged him, replied to him separately, and I said, but publicly, but separately. And I said, no, you've misunderstood what Cade was saying there. Like he wasn't saying people should. He was just saying that he's surprised that it hasn't, but that that not that there's merit or something to that effect. But the second, I just his reply made it feel in a way like he felt you were calling him out, and I didn't want that. I didn't want that out there, so I deleted that tweet. But if I had known that you had taken it in a way that he was just responding, I would have kept it up because I got really good engagement. I got 12 new subscribers on that day on my YouTube, but I deleted it immediately because I would never do anything like that. I see Keelay, our pet hooligan new resident, saying he's just asking for a friend on Blur, which is great. No, I do believe him. I do believe him. Maybe he was thinking about possibly doing it himself, but either way, doing it.
Well, I was gonna say I'm reading Zeneca's response. I can't tell. I guess it's kind of up to the reader to decide. We don't really have to get into it if you want to, but I mean, his comment got 1,800 views. It looks like my tweet was deleted, or wait, it says this tweet was deleted by the author, but I'm the author.
That's me. No, I'm the author. I did a tweet with the video like we do, and I copied you in like we do, just saying Blur, and then he commented that, but then I deleted that original tweet because I felt like it might seem like he was seeming like you were attacking him, which you weren't. Cade, many people in the past have tried to cancel me, and they've all failed. And if you know properly, I'm an investor, which is different to this. I just felt he was attacking you, and I didn't want that on mine. So the second I saw his reply, I deleted the original tweet. Because again, for me, this isn't about views; it's a passion project. And again, I'm not going to in any way throw my friend under the bus. We've got Krishna saying, is there still an opportunity demand for a community manager in this market? No, there isn't. I have had a couple of people reach out to me, but I mean, when it was really happening, I was literally not able to meet with people. I had a standard email saying, this is what I can offer. This is like a resume. This is what I charge, because I didn't have enough time to even meet with them. Now I've been approached. I get approached maybe once a month max. And they don't want to pay, like in the good old days, I was getting paid between 1.5 to 3 ETH per project per month.
Nice.
And ETH was $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000.
I had a few that offered, but they wanted 40 hours a week, and I was like, dude, I just can't give that to you. Like I And that was maybe $2,000, which would be good if I could take that. But if I was going to be like, oh, I can work 12 hours a week, that'd have been like, all right, it's like not even worth the money,
Yeah. So ETH now is a third of what it was, and they would want 5 times the amount of work for half the money.
You have to be the one to literally carry those boats. You really got to carry those boats.
Well, so I did. I mean, I was in there. People knew me. I was very involved, but I had my team. So I had Chris and Morland So, and between us, our time zones, we had that Discord covered full time. So me in South Africa, I had my 8-hour shift. Each of us had our 8-hour shift. And if anything happened, like, you know, an attack or any fights or anyone needed anything, one of us were there. We had games nights every Thursday that we'd host different games. We had it down to a good science. We were doing well.
Also, there's another part to that question, by the way. What are some qualities and skills of a great community manager? We've both done that job. Do you want to start?
I don't mind. I think from my perspective that you got to be a people person. That's a big thing. You know, you got to like people. You got to like engaging with people. I think you got to be personable. Because a lot of the time things are misunderstood. It's the same as, you know, when you're sending each other text messages, just a husband and wife or friends or parents and a child, often tone gets misunderstood. And that happens a lot in communities also. And I think it's really important to be a good communicator so that you can keep the community up to date, because the second the community started to feel like they weren't being updated frequently enough, or there wasn't enough details in what they were being, that's when people freak out. And it's like, you know, whereas, you know, if they knew, look, what I would usually recommend to my projects and would do is at least once a week on a select day in every project, there would be a weekly update announcement saying, in the last 7 days, this is what we've done. And in the next 7 days, this is what we're going to try and do. And that was consistent the same day, the same time, every day, so that there was never any FUD around communication or what's going on or what's happening and all of that. So yeah, that would be my thing. Personable, hardworking, committed, but also a good communicator. Yeah.
I think another important thing too, because I basically would just agree with that, and that would be pretty much my answer. But I just thought of this, popped in my head, that Philip and I both did. We just didn't think. I mean, it's just something we do, so we don't think about it. But like, we are also content creators and people within the space that are making content and stuff. So that's a huge plus for a community manager or moderator. You want to do that because you will get extra followers. Obviously, like, you will have an extra bit of a personal brand that comes from that. I know many people who started a career based off starting as a mod or something, and then taking over a few of those audience members, building, blah, 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 and done an exceptional job for themselves. And I'd say it also gives you some stature within Discord. They're like, oh, it's just some idiot community manager. Then they're like, oh no, I know this person. They're all over Twitter. They're doing all this great content. It's a good thing to do. So I would say make content, become someone who's somewhat known, because there are opportunities. I'm not going to say there's not opportunities for community managing. There's a lot less, you know, there's a lot, it's few and far in between, but there have been opportunities to do it. It's just, for me, like, the money trade-off.
Just the money, that's the problem. They were willing to pay so much more at the time.
But we've also been in the game for a while, and we're also, like, you especially are making tons of money. So like, it doesn't help you at all. I think if you are trying to get an opportunity, it's different. Like, yeah, you should probably take that, even if it's for free, just for the experience. And once you've got a couple on your belt, you can ask for a little bit of money. But in the beginning, I think you do need to scrape by, and it might be worth it. So
it's important to remember that I started as a mod. So yeah, I mean, I worked my way up. I started as a mod. There was no YouTube. There was nothing. I started as a moderator, unpaid, for not a cent. And that's how it developed into community manager for that project. And then they pretty much left and handed me the keys, and I was in over my head. But I tried my best anyway. And that was my first project, the Wolf, behind me on this side, Wolf Club. That was that very first project. And then from there, I tried to get Wolf Club relaunched on SpacePunk's launchpad. SpacePunks was the first people before Dogepound to do a launchpad, and they couldn't do it because the smart contract was already deployed. But they liked me, and they said, Philip, will you go in and help any project we accept on their launchpad, help them get ready for launch? So audit their website, be their community manager, supply them with mods, check out their Discord, make sure that they've got all the right information, rewrite stuff if they need to, make sure the roadmap's written well. And I was hired by SpacePunks, and I would go in with Morland and Chris. SpacePunks would be the ones who would compensate us for doing that. And then when the project would launch, our thing would be off with SpacePunks. We'd done our job, but then those projects wanted to keep us on often. So then I would continue working under them, but I was still then working for SpacePunks and going in and auditing. It was mad, absolutely insane.
Yeah, bro. Well, also, what are you pulling up? Is that art?
I don't know. I had to think. Atish said we must show more art, so I'm busy showing some art.
Are you an artist?
No, I just saw Tish say he wants to see art, so some art. I think he means we must like talk more about art projects. I think both you and I feel that we should. But I don't know, just a little bit of a way of doing what he said. Is there any questions or anything in Twitter Spaces?
No, Spaces were good. Yeah, I honestly, bro, I think we covered some good shit today. Really good shit.
Yeah, it was a great show. For sure. I just want to let everyone know that there's going to be no show next week, but we're going to resume again on the 29th of July. We're going to miss you all. But yeah, no show next week. Next show is going to be 29th of July. So everyone who joined us, especially to anyone who's still here from beginning to end, thank you very, very much. But for anyone who even popped in, really good. Thank you. Remember to always be kind, and we will see you on the 29th of July.
Oh yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the show, hit that like button, subscribe. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Well, I'll be here throughout the week, but not for the Whisper show. Yeah, whatever.